What happens to a female officer if she gets pregnant by a male prisoner? First of all, they will have to prove that she's actually pregnant by that male prisoner. Sometimes, due to her admittance, some of these officers, they be weak and they will admit, hey, yeah, I did it. They'll crack under pressure because they scared. One of the things you have to keep in mind is that they have our DNA on file, and they also have the officer DNA on file. Once she had that baby and they run that DNA and they can prove that that's that prisoner's child, she can face criminal charges, sexual misconduct, because the inmate absolutely cannot give his consent to have sexual relations with an officer. Now, the prisoner will face confinement time, even though they're really not in the wrong, because it's up to the officer to draw the line, because we're in the care, custody, and control of the officer. But because the institution wants to enforce the rule of officer and prisoner relations being a no-go in the prison, then that's why the prisoner, we tend to suffer repercussions as well as the officer, because I've been to jail for messing with a female officer before, and I was in jail and the officer was scot-free because I didn't tell. See, when it comes to the female and the female, they'll lock us for word of mouth, for rumors. Like an inmate can go and tell them, hey, that they speculate that I'm messing with a female officer. Now, they'll watch it for a minute, and it may not even be true. I could just be passing by and have a good rapport with that officer. Maybe I just speak to the officer every day because she treat me like somebody. Or maybe, she just a nice officer. She might be one of those officers that have a good rapport with all the inmates. If somebody done put a rumor out on you, they ain't gonna see it like that. What's in their mind is the rumor. That's what's going on in their mind. So they looking at the situation from the outside looking in. It looked like whatever that has been put in their mind about you and that officer. So 9 times out of 10, that's the way they're going to see it, and they're going to lock you, because they're going to say, oh, yeah, I see Tree every day. Go over there and speak to this officer. Go over there and talk to this officer. So they must have something going on. See, that's how they put the things together, but they really can't prove that stuff. The only way they can prove that a female is messing with another female in the prison, I'm talking about officer and prisoner relationship, is that it has to come out of that officer mouth or that inmate mouth. If I tell them, yes, I'm messing with that officer, yes, we did this. Now, I can say that, but I still have to have a little proof. A letter, a picture, maybe I can trace back some phone calls or something like that. But I still have to have a little proof, because you can't just go and say that you messing with an officer and you just think that it's going to be what it is. Because sometimes inmates get mad and they go lie on the officer and say, oh, he tried to do this to me, or she tried to do that to me, or she tried to come on to me, because they want to get the officer off the compound because the officer is a jerk. So you do have to an extent, prove what you're saying about that officer. Now, when it comes to a female officer getting pregnant by a male prisoner, the proof of that is only determined when she have that baby. They would take a DNA test of that baby, and they already have the officer DNA on file. They have our DNA on file, and they're going to run that test. And if it's true, she can face criminal charges and prison time. And not only that, she's going to be immediately terminated from her job and lose her certification in the law enforcement. It's a little hard to really prove the officer and inmate relationship. That's why in prison, when they used to escort officers off the compound, I know that they have to have had some concrete evidence. I've seen officers get set up in the prison all the time. I don't know what kind of evidence they had on the officer, but I've seen officers get set up before. I've even had a situation of my own. Well, I've been involved with an officer. I didn't tell on the officer. I ain't even have no proof on the officer. Of course, I wasn't going to tell because I was down with whatever was going on. But there has been people that have gone and told on me. And they put me in jail for whatever proof they had. I don't know. But, you know, they probably had proof because I was selling certain items in the institution. So they would come to me and they would buy certain things. And they probably took it back to the inspector and say, see, I just bought this. Da-da-da-da. You know how the game go. But you don't be thinking about that. You be thinking about making your money and stuff. And back then, you know, I was young, man. My mind was on my money and surviving. I wasn't where I'm at now. I didn't have the wisdom that I had now. I was just hustling. I wasn't even thinking about who the snakes are and don't sell to this person. You know, I had heard certain things, but still I was like, hey, I'm just making my money. You feel what I'm saying? In there, our mindset is a little bit different, man. We be on something else. We don't be thinking our way through that. We just be trying to come up. And sometimes, even with the officers, they be trying to come up too, because from my understanding, the prison don't pay enough. So they be doing their little side hustles, and some of them start bringing stuff in. If the prisoner can produce the items that the officers bringing in, yeah, they can get fired. Because 9 times out of 10, you know, that's the proof right there. They take some of the items, they just take your fingerprints, and boom, they got you. If they take the fingerprints, like with a phone, if an inmate say, an officer bought them a phone in and they got that officer fingerprints on file, and they run the fingerprints on that phone and see where the officer done touched that phone or that item and that's in that inmate's possession, they'll get you. They'll get you. You got right there. Ain't no getting out of that. Your fingerprints on it, because there's nothing in the institution that's prohibited to an inmate that an officer fingerprint should be on along with an inmate fingerprint. Now, when it comes to female officers having babies from prisoner inmates, they gotta prove that too, unless she admit to it. It's different if he say, oh yeah, I got her pregnant, because he still gotta prove it. Like I say, inmates can say anything. If they can prove it, she will face criminal charges. She will be terminated from her job. She can face prison time. It ain't even worth you guys going in there working and getting caught up with these inmates, because at the end of the day, the inmates that's going to try you are the ones that have a lot of time. See, the ones that's almost about to go home and get out, they ain't on none of that, because they trying to get out and do the right thing. They don't want to mess up their dates. But them ones that got life in prison, 20-some years to go, and 10 years to go, and 15 years to go, listen, you got to watch them, because they're going to try to get up under you. If I was an officer, the first thing I would do, if an inmate was trying to get up under me and being a little bit too nice, because some of them, they straight. They are nice people, and they nice without a motive. I'm talking about prisoners. But then a lot of the prisoners have motives. I check their file, see how much time they got. When I see that they got 10 or more, I ain't even dealing with them, because I already know you out to try to make your time comfortable, and you don't even care about my job, about me. You don't care who you sink. You just trying to make your time easy for you. To all my officers, man, I just want to say, be careful, because I've been a prisoner before. I've been an inmate before. And the thing about me, though, now, I know they want to say we the manipulative ones, but I didn't manipulate any of my relationship with the officers. They came for me. But at the same time, you know, I wasn't trying to get nothing up out of them, and I did have a long time. You know, I kind of liked the females officers that I was messing with. They were pretty ladies, so I was kind of like in relation for real with them. I had my own hustle going on the side, so I ain't really need them for nothing. But a lot of the inmates, they really just want to, they trying to make it. They trying to make their time easy as possible. You don't have to treat the inmates like dogs. Some of them just morally good. God has changed a lot of their lives. God has set a lot of them free. They're new creatures in Christ. And I just want to say this to officers as well. Sometimes you may work in a prison, and maybe that inmate file, there's some things in his file. They train you guys to treat us a certain way. But a lot of that stuff that's in the inmate's file, and they done been in there for years, those inmates, those prisoners have changed. So I just want to say, don't judge them according to what you read in their files. Get to know these people. at a respectful distance. That's how I'm gonna say it. Don't let them up under you. Don't let them in your personal life or nothing like that. But, you know, treat them the way you want to be treated. But at the same time, you know, stand your ground as an officer and be respectful, because an inmate can only do what you allow them to do. When it takes two to tango, we can't do it by ourselves. Even if we came off to you or came on to you the wrong way, it still can't go no farther than you allow it. And you can stop it. You can warn them one-on-one. Hey, I don't get down like that. Don't try me no more, or this gonna be escalated, and they'll get it. Or you can just go straight to your superior, say, hey, this inmate tried me, and I just want to put this out there. I want a report to be written, because in the long run, I don't want nothing to come out with my name in it. That's how you handle all that. Y'all be blessed. Now, you hear?